But you look great. I'm really excited to have you here. Thank you again.
Oh, no problem. I'm excited.
Awesome.
First interview of 2022, so.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us again on this episode of the CNEW Creative Spotlight, where we bring the amazing creatives from around the world straight to you. As always, I'm your boy, Chris. Now, of course, we are continuing to try to grow the brand awareness, so you can support us by following us on Instagram and Twitter at CreativesNearU. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and follow us on SoundCloud so you never miss any of our content we have coming your way. 2022 is going to be a huge year with the re-release of CNEW, a lot of events, subscriptions, a lot of sweepstakes, a lot of surprises coming your way, and we do not want you to miss it, so make sure you follow us there. Today, we are very fortunate to talk to an amazingly talented artist from Philadelphia. We have Mare here talking to her. She is a singer, songwriter, and keyboardist, and she is here to bless us with her passion of music. Mare, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Of course. As I said, I am so grateful to have you here. I am such a huge fan ever since I met you back in 2019. We're definitely going to dive into that. But this show is all about the creatives that we have coming in. So please tell our audience a little bit more about who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Absolutely. So, as I already mentioned, my name is Mare. Excuse me. I am from Philly. I've been performing and doing music probably since around the age of 3. Wow. So literally music is strong passion and pursuit that I'm doing right now. Most recently, I've put out some original music and it's on all digital platforms. My EP, Wish Me Well. And it just basically talks about, personal challenges that a lot of us face. I think relationships is one thing. I think love songs is another thing, but we don't really get too personal in our music these days, and just very transparent about some of our life's challenges, which we all go through. We all go through so many things, but we don't really talk about it, and especially us women that face certain things. So if you're looking for a good transparent time, some somber things, I deliver that in my music, and it's very freeing, to just let it out.
Fantastic.
So I strongly encourage, and commend artists that do that on a consistent basis. So that's basically me. I'm an alto. I have a strong, hefty alto voice. So a lot of people, they always
sure do.
They always see me and they're like, what? Where's this voice come from?
Yeah.
That's like a thing that everybody says to me. It's like this tiny body with this huge voice. So, I'm just really grateful to do what I love, and, that people like you can, appreciate it, because, art is it's so important, especially now. Everything we're going through, COVID, and oh my gosh, being in the pandemic, locked in the house for 2 years, and so many things. Now the vaccine that's kind of dividing us up, who's vaccinated, who's not. So music is really keeping us all together and keeping us encouraged.
Fantastic. Absolutely. I mean, you've said so much there that I want to unwrap. First of all, yes, you have a very, very amazing voice. I was so shocked. I met you for the first time, I believe it was 2019, when we were both at the Create Festival networking event put together by Rennie. I met you and Nicole, who actually performed that day, and she was an amazingly talented artist as well. And through following her, I followed your page, and then I started to just see what both of you guys were doing. And man, I just was like, I heard you sing for the first time. I was like, whoa, like, who is this girl with this amazing voice, to just so much power in it? And it's just, you hear things like that sometimes, and you're like, you can kind of put into a frame of, like, if you didn't see what they look like, you'd be like, okay, I kind of could figure how this person may look or present or everything. But man, what a trick you put on me, man. I was so shocked. And you have such power. I believe I believe the first song I actually heard from you was one of the originals. I believe it was Too Late, I believe. Was that the Spanish?
And that's my first single that I put out. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember seeing that and seeing the vibe in the studio with your friends and you guys all, going all out to it and stuff. And it was just so amazing to just see such a talent like yours and just see your artistry grow and develop. So I'm really happy that you're continuing to persevere through all these crazy times, especially with COVID and everything. Did COVID kind of set you back in like the trajectory you were headed in, or did it kind of give you a time to kind of recoup and figure things out?
Wow. So that's actually a great question, because I was a school teacher for 4 years prior to COVID. And it was literally 2019, that September, that school was starting back up. I had quit. I decided, it's hard to kind of to juggle the 9 to 5 and an artist's career. 100%. And I commend those of us that do it, because we need to be financially supported, but it's still hard because you can't put all of your time into what it is that you really want to do. And I just made that conscious decision. I really want to be an artist. I want to pursue, this is something I've dreamed about since I was a little kid, looking on YouTube, watching performers, imitating them, wanting to be on mega stages and things like that. This is what I wanted to do since I was a child. So I decided to quit. I went cold. I had nothing else going on. I just said, I'm going to quit. No extra money coming in. Everybody's like, are you sure that's not how this works? You need to have something. But I quit. And of course, 2020 hits and we all know what happened. Oh my gosh. It was like 3 months in, here's the pandemic, shut down. So many things going on. And I honestly can say it was one of the best decisions of my life, because quitting right before the pandemic prepared me for the pandemic. Right. I found out I was going to eventually get fired anyway once the pandemic hit, because they let go of the specials teachers. Right. And I was a music teacher. So it was like perfect timing. It was like I was in a line with already what was supposed to happen. Right. And shortly after that, I was able to, release my EP. I was able to, it was like gigs and opportunities started just coming and happening for me. I was I wasn't, begging for anything. I wasn't without anything that I needed. And from there, I just got so many other opportunities. I landed a placement on Black Lightning.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah.
TV show on CW. And so many other things. I was able to travel to LA and work with the artist called Tones and I. She's a pop artist. Just so many things happen. And I say all that to say, you never know what could happen for you until you take that leap of faith. And until you take that step to say, you know what, I'm gonna go after this. And that's what happened for me. The pandemic, I know a lot of people can't say that, but the pandemic for me was a blessing. Listen, honestly, from a creative perspective, that is, in a lot of the interviews I've done, because, this whole interview, series started because of the pandemic almost. Like, we were all locked in, and I just wanted to give artists a way to just talk about themselves, share what they're still doing and stuff. And that's actually a very common thing I've heard from a lot of creatives, because as life continues to move us along and we have to kind of maintain the day-to-day, there's not many events in life and society that kind of is a big pause button on everything. So I think a lot of creatives took the opportunity to say, you know what, the world is shutting down around me. Let me try to, reframe and just figure out what it was I was doing. If I wasn't heading in the direction I wanted to go in, what can I do to get me on that direction? And if I was on a trajectory somewhere where I was like, how can I reinvent myself to continue to make sure I stay relevant and continue to push forward? So it's not, you trust me, it's not an uncommon answer I've heard from a lot of people to say that the pandemic for creation purposes was a blessing. Obviously, it was very tragic for people who have lost people who got sick. But, I think it's important, just as much as we recognize the negative that this pandemic has brought on, that we also acknowledge the positives that came out of it, because that's the only way we kind of can get ahead of it,
But I'm very happy that you kind of saw the writing on the walls prior, and was able to kind of position yourself so that when that did happen, you weren't just, sidelined. That's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. So, you said you've been singing and in being an artist since you were about 3 years old. So how did that start? Because I have a 6-year-old myself, and as a musician myself, I am trying to kind of lean her slowly into music, see what she likes and what she's into. How did you kind of just get started? Were you involved in church, or did you start with the keyboard? How'd you get started?
Yeah, so all of those things that you just said.
Oh, really? Awesome. Couldn't know.
Started in church. Okay, everybody in my family is a church going. I have a church going family, so definitely started there. I started on the piano. Originally, my mother said that I would just go to the piano at 3, and commercials would be playing in the background, and I would try to pick up melody.
Yeah.
Of what was being played, which is crazy. But music does run in my family, so I think there was a little bit benefit there, for me, for it to be passed down.
For sure.
But went to music school. There's a popular music school in Philadelphia called Jenkintown, Settlement Music School, and I was classically trained there for about 10 to 12 years, up until age 15. From there, I went to girls' high school, where I was in choir and so many vocal class and so many things. And from there, I went to Eastern University, where I pursued a degree in music and, played in the choir, played in church. Like I said, I went on to become a music teacher, quit to become a music artist.
Right.
It's music has just always been, there's literally no plan B. You know how people say, what's your plan B? There's only plan A.
Yeah, plan A. I'm with you.
This has to work out. And because sometimes, we have been in things for so long, I started early, it can just seem like it's just a long journey. But some days I feel like I'm just beginning, some days it's just I'm learning something new. I'm learning how to take on this new task in the industry. I'm meeting new people that are changing me and teaching me things. So it's really amazing to feel that and to know that I've been doing it for so long, but I'm also just beginning,
Yeah. I mean, isn't that amazing though, to be involved in something that it's been part of you for such a long time, and yet you continue to learn and experience new things. I think that is the beauty in itself of music and creation as a whole, is the fact that we never fully learn everything. There's always someone new. There's always a new experience, something that kind of can evolve you even further when you thought you couldn't evolve anymore. So, coming from a church background and having the type of voice that you have, how have you what type of position are you putting yourself in to kind of, define your genre? Are you leaning more into that really big alto voice sound? Are you trying to lean more into a more commercialized pop sound? What type of direction are you trying to go into?
Yeah, so for me, even though I'm have church background, I've always loved R&B. I had to sneak and go, to the Chris Brown and listen to Michael Jackson and Whitney. I had to play that in my headphones.
Yeah.
Because on the other side of the house, it was Donnie McKirkland and Clark Sisters and all that. And I love them as well. Of course. I take from every genre and every artist, but always just really gravitated to R&B and that sound. And I believe that working with certain producers has really helped me as an artist just figure things out. A lot of my songs in my EP, I went to Atlanta to record. So I'm from Philly.
Nice.
Traveled to Atlanta. One of my friends introduced me to some amazing producers out there, and I really just started playing through my sound. Too Late was more on the pop. It had a poppy R&B vibe to it. And then I have another song on my EP that's more mellow, and it's more on a neo soul type vibe.
Oh boy.
So I was figuring it out for these past 2 years. And I'm considering even now going in another different route. So, it's everything constantly changes,
of course,
and evolves. Like if we look at some of our favorite artists and the original stuff they put out to what they put out now, it's just different. Different content, it's different feelings, different emotions, different sounds, and I feel like that's what I'm going through now. So I just know that R&B is definitely what I am seeking after.
Well, I mean, listen, I mean, that is kind of what I feel the greatest artists do, is that they evolve, they expand. And it's not just an artistic preference where they say, you know what, I want to try something new. It sometimes is kind of a business savvy mindset, because you expand your horizon, your listening base for the type of people that kind of enjoy your music, and I think that your voice has a lot of range to kind of go into all those different type of directions. I'm grew up a rocker, I'm Puerto Rican and Trinidadian. So I grew up in a very Caribbean type of salsa and, chutney and all these different types of, island music. But funny enough, I grew up and leaned into rock, as I went into high school. So I definitely have seen the bands that I grew up listening to when I was a kid evolve and their sound change. And, they're fans. Some people love it. Some people hate it, to kind of see them change and try new things. I always personally love it when I hear something different from a band that I grew up listening to, because it shows me that they actually are really artists. They aren't this, factory made, group that say, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They're willing to take risks. And I think that that's kind of really awesome that you're at that place right now where you're willing to like try out new things.
Yes.
So you're from Philadelphia, obviously. For the uninitiated, for the, people see this from all over the country, all over the world sometimes. Please tell our users a little bit about the Philadelphia creative and music scene. Like, how has that environment sculpted the artist that you are today?
Wow. So Philadelphia is, I think, very unique because we have, first of all, some of the best artists to come out of Philly, but we're definitely most known for just our musical vibe that we give to music and arrangement and how ultimately they sound when you hear it live. So a lot of artists that we know and love have Philadelphia artists playing behind them on the touring side of things.
That's interesting.
On stages when you go to the concert.
Right.
So when you hear that live arrangement sound, it's from Philly. So, we have so many just open mics and jam sessions here when you just come, kind of like what we did in New York that day. Kind of just come and, just sing and learn how to mash up songs in the middle of a band playing something that doesn't sound like that original song,
Right.
You just learn how to vibe here and you learn how to create. And I think that's what Philly is really about. It's just about creating. Also, something I mentioned earlier about, just hardships and trials. I don't know if you are really big on documentaries, but there's this documentary on, I think it's Amazon Prime, and with Teddy Pendergrass.
Okay.
Teddy Pendergrass was from Philly, and just his story.
Really?
Getting into that car accident and overcoming that, still getting on stage after that and performing in front of millions of people. That just goes to show what we're made of,
right? And
where we come from. We have a really go get getter mentality. Like, go hard or go home. Work.
Right.
That's what we know, and I feel like that's why I'm still here, still pursuing this thing. Still going after it, because this is all I know. This is what I want to do, and that's what you get from Philly. Other than a good cheesesteak and some water ice and a pretzel.
I mean, it's so crazy because one of the things that I've kind of always theorized, I don't know if it's proven or have other people have kind of agree with this, but I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. I was born and raised there. I moved out of New York to East Orange, New Jersey when I was 14. So right at the beginning of my teenage years. And that's when I actually started getting into music, because I didn't know anybody, and I was starting to get into rock, and I was like, you know what, let me pick up a guitar. And I met some friends and started a band, and everything took off from there. But one of the things that I find specifically in this area, the Northeast, area of the world, it feels like sometimes like the creative hubs, the creative environments outside of New York kind of live almost in like the shadow of what New York is, how people kind of visualize the creative mecca of New York. And I think what it creates on a positive side is a culture where people from Jersey and Philly and even Delaware and Maryland and everything have this hustle, this drive, not to necessarily achieve a status that is of New York or, a prestige that comes with it, but just to kind of be like, make a mark in their environment, to be like, yo, like we're doing real things here in Philly or in Jersey and Maryland and stuff. And I find that a lot of the people that I've met throughout my career have been such ambitious hustlers when it came to how they invent themselves and network and get on, you know what I mean? So I think it's really awesome that you have been able to find inspiration in other artists that have come before you and just see how they have excelled their platform and grow from there. It's right now we are at the beginning of a new year, and it's a very, obviously everything opens up for us. Hopefully we're going to get ahead of this pandemic. And assuming that we do, I would just want our audience to know what is on the horizons for you this year. What are you trying to do?
Wow. So, I actually took a nice break last year, and I encourage everyone, that just works hard at some point. You have to have the balance of hard work and also rest, You can't just work, and there's no time to, just bring your mind back down and focus in on, you. So that's what I did last year, and just really tried to figure out, okay, what's next for me.
Right.
And I was able to go to LA and get some work done. And to come up with actual live arrangement of my original music that's already out.
That's awesome.
So that will be coming out very soon, and I'm very excited about that. Not sure exactly when, but it definitely will be during the top half of this year. It's a live arrangement of my original stuff, and
nice.
I'll be posting that on social media, so I'll be sure to make sure
Yes, please.
Also, some more original music, I'm working with one of my good best friends out in LA. We decided to finally collab on a song.
Nice.
So that'll be dropping. Some of my own original stuff will be dropping. Hopefully some more placements on a show or with an artist will be in the works this year as well. So I have a lot that I'm looking forward to.
That's amazing. I'm super excited to hear any new material or reinvention. I've enjoyed watching videos of you on stage with just you and a guitarist, and just it's such a talent you have. Do you typically write on a keyboard first? Do you work with like someone else, or how do you kind of go about your songwriting process?
So it's very interesting because I like to, and this may sound weird, but this is just my way, because a lot of people are like, do you produce your own stuff since you play? And I actually don't produce my own stuff, and that's something that I might do in the future, but I love working with people. I love collabing with others. 100%. So sometimes that gets in the way of my own personal creativity, but I love to get the music and then go from there. I love to get the musical foundation first and then come up with the lyrics and then come up with the melody, because I just think music is the foundation, I know people have a way of doing lyrics first and writing lyrics down and then creating from there, but for me it's just I need to hear the full instrumentation. That will help me figure out, okay, where is this going to go, because I can honestly write to anything. Right. I think Too Late was a strong point for what I'm trying to make now, because it was a somber topic, about leaving someone.
Right.
And then I was able to mash that with this
A beat type of, yeah, yeah.
So I just love to hear the music first,
Right.
and I love to get creative from there.
Sure. Now I mean, look, everybody has their own process. I always, especially when I first started songwriting myself, it was always a weird struggle because I grew up listening to, like, my favorite band growing up was Linkin Park, and they have a very interesting approach to rock where they don't write lyrics first, they write the music first. So they consider it a very like hip hop type of writing style. And I always kind of started writing from that place where I would write something on guitar and then write some type of lyrics or melody or something. And I've now started to transition and trust myself where I'm trying to do it the other way around, where I actually write something first and then try to find music that fits it, I mean, however it works for you, it's working, girl, because I mean, the stuff you've come up with is amazing. And I'm, like I said, I'm just so excited to see what 2022 brings for you. I hope it just brings you nothing but success and triumphs. As far as just your 2022 plans, you say you have the live instrumentation. Does that mean that we're going to see you more live if permitting? Or are we going to see you on stage and everything? Maybe.
You are definitely going to see me in live full color.
Fantastic. That's amazing.
You're gonna get a very organic live stage production performance.
That's amazing. How many people, you said you have like a full band with you, like you have like a team already?
So it wasn't a full band, it was just dancers, background vocalists.
Okay.
You'll hear the live. You'll hear the live component of it with the drums, with the synth in the background. So
nice. What I'm trying to do right now, because my band we've definitely retracted a little bit from some of the live instrumentation. Not to say that we're not going to perform live, but we always had trouble finding like a drummer. So what we started to do is rewrite a lot of our music to kind of be able to work on sequencers and drum machines. So I actually have a machine studio right in front of me from N.E.W.S. So I'm trying to learn how to kind of daisy chain everything together for like time triggering and all these things so it could be automatic, so that I could just play my guitar and just trigger things in as I'm playing live, which is super new for me. But it's a lot more of a common thing I'm seeing now, where people will just bring a drum machine and a guitar and they'll just go. So I'm like, why not me,
Right. No better time than now, honestly.
Yeah. So big. Yeah. I mean, I built this studio in my house and it's been, it was funny because we bought our house last year. So now it's like at a time where I have all this time to kind of figure out how to do these things. So I've been learning a lot and, recording new music and stuff. So I'm really excited about it. And I also have a project called A Hazel Moment, which is a side project I do. It's not really a band. It's more of kind of collaborative effort, where I work with, every song features a different artist. So I hope one day, blessings, I could maybe get you on one of mine, which would be so amazing. I would love to work with you on something, but that's down the line, and we will definitely work on that as time goes on.
Yeah.
Before we go, I just want to give you, I always ask my guests to just give any words of inspiration, any last things you want to share with our audience before we wrap it up. Last words from Mare from Philly.
Last words. I'm so grateful just to be here, Yeah. I can't say that enough. I mean, sometimes we just take moments like this for granted, life and, just seeing each other,
Yes.
And these past 2 years have just taught me the importance of what really matters. And I just would encourage everyone that could possibly be watching to think on those things as well. What matters, your passion, what you want to go after in life. Do it while you have the chance. Don't wait. Don't think I'm going to get everything together. I'm going to get my money together. I'm going to get my finance together. I'm going to get my health together. Whatever the getting together looks like for you. Don't wait until it's perfect. Just do it, because you never know what could come from it. And from my personal story, stay on the journey, no matter how long it takes for you to get there, write it down, write out your vision, write out your plan, and keep going. I saw something the other day that said, the only way you won't get there is if you stop.
Right. 100%.
And I mean, that's the honest truth, like you'll get there. You'll eventually get where you want to be, on the platforms you want to be on, having what you want to have, but you just have to keep going. And I'm encouraging you to do the same. I mean, this is amazing. You just reaching out to me, you still keeping up with me after 2 years. It's like, I'm so appreciative of that, because support is hard to come by. A lot of us will see each other, we'll go, hey, you got something good going on, and then that's it. We move on to the next thing. This day and age we live in is just so like our attention span is just okay, on to the next. But the fact that you're paying attention to what I'm doing, you're still supporting me, you're asking me to be a part of what you have going on. I'm so grateful for that. And I want to say to you, keep going. Everything you're doing is amazing, and you're going to get to where you want to be. I'm going to get to where I want to be. And everyone that's watching, we're all going to get to where we want to be. Just hang on in there, keep moving, keep pressing forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely. True words of perseverance from the amazing Mare from Philly. Thank you so much. You hit it right on the head. It's the only way we get there is if we keep going. That is no better way I could have, put that myself.
Yes.
It's so true. It's so true. And perseverance and passion is really the key to accomplishing anything. So Mare, thank you so much for your time, for your beautiful voice, for your beautiful spirit. I am so grateful again that you took the time to come here with me and speak to our guests. Ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you follow Mare at all the links we provided down below. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Make sure you follow her and all the other people we tagged from this interview. My name is Chris, and make sure you always connect, collab, and create.